In today's video I'm gonna have a look at a gaming monitor from Titan Army, in this case the P2710S. They sent me this monitor for review, but as always this review will be based on my own experience with the monitor for the last few weeks. Titan Army didn't even request to see the video before publishing, so this means they trust their product. The Titan Army P2710S monitor can be bought on Amazon. On the screen you have the code that you can use to get a 5% discount. CAGA2710. This code is stackable with Amazon's €60 code. The code and the Amazon link for the product can be seen in the video's description. The monitor came in a rather plain box with Titan Army written on it. In the box we have the power adapter, the monitor stand, the leg, and of course the monitor itself. There are some papers, a certificate that attests that the display received some factory color calibration before it was shipped. When it comes to connectivity, it comes with two DisplayPort 1.4 and two HDMI 2.0. The good thing is that having so many connectivity ports means that you can connect up to 4 different devices. One thing to point out is that only the two DisplayPort connections are capable of reaching 240 Hz. The HDMI ones are topping at 144 Hz. On the back we can see as well the 3.5 audio jack, but no USB ports. This model is using an IPS panel. It means that we can enjoy good viewing angles, good colors at a reasonable price. The monitor looks standard, with a somehow bigger chin, but nothing alarming. I suspect that they made it this way as it needs to house the menu navigation buttons. The monitor leg seems sturdy and has ample tilt and swivel. Of course the monitor can be lifted and lowered, but this is typical for most gaming displays. Because of the flat leg stand, this one can be lowered quite significantly. Moving on to the monitor's menu. Well, I'm not a big fan of it. I think that a navigation stick is way easier to use, but in reality you don't spend too much time in the menu. In the system settings you can set the language and the timeouts. Under picture mode you have different color profiles. These are predefined, but you can adjust them as you wish after selecting one. In this video I'm gonna focus on the sRGB profile and the DCI-P3 mode. As this monitor is made for gamers, the overdrive setting can be found under Game Plus, then Picture Enhancement, then Dynamic OD. Here you have multiple options ranging from off, which is the display's native performance, then level 1 to level 3, and finally top speed. Titan Army recommends to use top speed for the best performance at 240 Hz. I tested the display's responsiveness using Burbuster's UFO test, and I must confess that, in my opinion, top speed is not the best. I think there is evident overshot. As you can see here, level 2 or level 3 overdrive setting produces less overshot. With that said, level 2 is not suitable for 240 Hz. In my opinion, the best would be level 3 overdrive settings. I would say that it provides the perfect balance between overshot and pixel response times. Keep in mind that I don't have tools to measure the response times and the overshot for each profile. But this is the profile used by me, and to be honest, in these past weeks, when switching from competitive games to slower paced single player games, I didn't notice any color issues at lower FPS, but it doesn't mean there is none. Level 3 overdrive is not best suited for 60 Hz, where it produces ghosting and overshot. In this case I would go with overdrive level 2 setting. This behavior is typical to IPS and VA panels, as rarely there is a single overdrive setting that can cover all refresh rate range. Now let's look at the two color profiles, sRGB and DCI-P3 mode. All color profiles readings were done using Data Color's Spider Pro tool. Before moving forward, please don't forget that every panel will see small variations. With that said, when using the default sRGB profile settings, nothing was adjusted. The coverage is a bit low, at least on my unit, as it stands at 93%. The white point set by default is a bit off, as it is no way close to the 65K mark. On my unit it hovers around 75K. Brightness levels are okay, nothing special, topping at 350 nits, and a contrast ratio of 800:1. Keep in mind that the 800:1 contrast ratio is not at 100, as the sRGB profile is set it by default to 60. Color accuracy is as stated by the manufacturer, with an average deviation of below 2, which is very good for a gaming display. Now let's switch to the DCI-P3 mode profile. This one reaches 91% color coverage of the P3 color range. In my opinion, this is good for a gaming display. Using this profile, we can see that we have 100 sRGB coverage. When it comes to the color accuracy, the delta average has doubled, but I still think that a value below 4 is okay. Mini LED and OLEDs have great screen uniformity, but edge LED displays suffer from poor uniformity, as it can be seen on the screen in this representation. Don't worry, this is typical for this kind of panel with this backlighting, so nothing alarming. The monitor is good, provided you get it at a reasonable price. IPS 240Hz monitors are cheap as opposed to OLED displays, but even those came down in price in recent years. One advantage that an IPS or VA panel has over OLED is that there is no burn-in. When it comes to this display, what I didn't like is image persistence. I have two other IPS displays and none retained for so long the marks from running the UFO tests. But don't worry, this is not permanent, so in a few minutes you will not see that anymore. So, should you consider this one? I would say that if you are looking for a 1440p gaming display, this one is a good one. It is not OLED level of performance, but neither is the price. It will not be able to compete with 360 or 480 Hz displays, but those are more expensive. I think 1440p 240 is a perfect blend between competitive and single-player games. For my personal use, I like DCI-P3 profile because I like more vivid colors, and this display provides that. DisplayPort 1.4 is plenty for 1440p 240 Hz displays. Don't forget that you can buy 1440p 480 Hz OLED displays that come with DisplayPort 1.4, so for this monitor this is not a limitation. Some will mind that it doesn't have any USB port, so if you are looking for a display that has this is not the model for you. I didn't have any issues when using NVIDIA, AMD or Intel GPUs. It supports adaptive sync provided you enable it, thus reducing screen tearing, and is good for productivity and coding. I would not recommend it for color accuracy tasks, but this is not its intended purpose. This doesn't mean that it's not usable, it's just not the best out there for this purpose. The brightness is okay, but I feel that it could have been better, while contrast is typical to IPS panels. Again, thanks to Titan Army for providing me with a sample. Don't forget that you can find a discount code in the video's description. And that's it for this video. If you found this video helpful, hit the thumbs up button, drop a comment below to help with the algorithm, and consider subscribing to the channel. Take care and hope to see you all in the next one.